My brothers and sisters in Christ, I think many people down here have gotten to know me, and especially those who watch me online on either Facebook or Instagram, know that I enjoy a good fire. There's something about a fire that brings me comfort, besides also warming and shooing away the bugs. There's something that symbol reminds me of so many different things. It reminds me of how communities kind of gathered around the fire to still tell stories through generations. How we know it truly renews us. It reminds us of how and desire that we should be. And I got this imagery as reading our very first reading today, which comes from the book of the prophet Isaiah, speaking to us about the suffering servant of whom God will send to his people and what he will ultimately do. Now, one of the things I don't like about a fire is when it comes to the end, all you have a little bit is just ashes and that flame is going towards. An imagery of in that very first reading, and I hope you read it. If not, I encourage you to go read it. It says, a smoldering wick he shall not quench. And just like for us, he doesn't want the fire of desire in our hearts, the fire of the Spirit that he's given to us, to ever go out. Ultimately, he's trying to come to remove all those things that make that flame go, that removes that fuel, removes that air that truly gives us life and builds us up. And ultimately, we see in these readings, especially this very first reading today, how he's come, doesn't even take the bruised reed and break it. Maybe when we feel about ourselves, but ultimately how he comes. Not in grandeur, not in shouting, but truly relating with us. And I hope throughout all of Lent, we've seen that in the readings, how he meets people where they are, he challenges them, opens them up, and gives them the freedom to follow, and challenges them, sin no more. Rise from the death that you experience or where you are, and know that I've come to always be with you. Because later on that reading, he says, I formed you and set you as a covenant of the people, a light for the nations. And although we see that with Christ, how he came to now establish a brand new and everlasting covenant that he had instituted on that night, celebrated on Holy Thursday night, the institution of the Eucharist, which ties us then to his passion, where he shed his body, his blood, emptying himself out of everything, but giving us a covenant. That we know that right now, even though we can't physically attend Mass, we know Mass is being offered, and that covenant is ever present, going back to that one moment he gave everything. And we ought to remind ourselves, too, how he still feeds us, most especially now through our prayer life, our reading of his word, and the Masses that are being offered for each one of you. So remind yourself, much like a fire, the Lord doesn't want you to be the small thing that seems to be dwindling, even now. He wants to clear all those things. And he invites us to do this in his Holy Week. To, like we heard of this past weekend from Paul's letter to the Philippians, empty ourselves out. Give everything over to him so that he may fill us up to truly be who we're called to be, his sons and daughters, a light to the nations with a covenant that can never be broken. My brothers and sisters, know my prayers for you, and may God bless you in the daily journey.